Tom Hanks, I'm sure he's worth $1 billion. I'm sure he's got multiple mansions across the world. He probably has, or at least can afford a yacht, every fancy sports car he wants. And you know who got it for him? All of us. Guys like the one he's making fun of right there, who went to see Forrest Gump and Big and all the fun Tom Hanks movies and never once thought that he was judging them as stupid, rural, worth-nothing racists. But he showed his cards there.
Yes, the reactions I've seen, extremely concerning. Megyn Kelly destroyed this man. He had an interview on Sky News Australia. I'm going to go to that video, but before we do that, when you take a look at this, Meghan McCain, Tom Hanks always want to pretend he's a likable everyman, but he is as hate mongering of regular America as any host on MMBC. Good luck becoming less and less culturally relevant by the second, bro. This is coming a day after Hollywood actor Tom Hanks appears on SNL as a racist Trump supporters while wearing a MAGA hat and hesitating to shake a black man's hand. I think I did that video. A lot of people saw it. We are not going to go back into it. I'm just going to show you how people are reacting to this.
Country.
Now, we're both of an era when the Oscars used to mean something because it was sort of one of those big showbiz events, and the Saturday Night Live 50-year reunion was sort of the closest thing to an awards show. But then rather than just celebrating a TV show that you may have liked or loved or not really cared about for much of the past 50 years, they decided to very overtly do a screw you to half the country. Tom Hanks was involved in a skit where he just mocked MAGA voters. And I couldn't help but think, why?
You know what it reminded me of? I used to do a lot of stories on domestic violence, and I got to know a lot about how it works. And it reminded me of an abuser who goes back to a woman and puts on the mask. I'm charming. I'm totally loving. I will never hurt you. You can trust me. I get you. We're together. We're a partnership. But then as soon as the woman does something, could be anything, to set him off, the veil comes down and you realize this has been someone pretending. This whole thing that's been wooing me in has been an act. And oh my God, I was almost fooled. You know, thank God I saw the moment of reality. That's what that thing was to me, because Saturday Night Live hates conservatives. NBC hates conservatives. They've been doing programming that is anti-conservative, anti-Trump, pro-leftist causes in the open now for 12 years and beyond. I mean, I haven't really watched it with a political eye longer than that. And that on Sunday night, they tried to reel us in by just doing regular comedy that could appeal to anybody. Like, see, we're so fun. We've got all these big stars. So we're towing the line and we're going to make everybody love us and you can trust us. We're not going to be too political. We're going to be the kind of product that everyone can consume. And then the veil slipped. And it slipped because that's who they really are. And no one there thought there'd be a problem with that skit with Tom Hanks. No one said, oh God, is this beyond? Like, should we not? Because it's all the same left-wing echo chamber. So they decided to take one of the most beloved, most popular American actors ever, Tom Hanks, and put him in a Trump MAGA hat and put him down at the end on what they called Black Jeopardy, which is kind of like a joke that Black people don't watch normal Jeopardy. And so it's kind of like white Jeopardy. And he comes on Black Jeopardy, and the Black host comes over to shake his hand, and he recoils at the thought of touching a Black man and doesn't want to shake the hand and only does it when he's forced to by the very gracious Black host.
Well, thank you. Hey, now speaking of church, can I say something? If more folks went to church, we wouldn't be in this mess we're in now.
You know what? I agree with you, Doug. I'd like to shake your hand, sir. Here we go.
No,
oh, no. Oh, no, it's just a handshake. Yeah, it's just a handshake. Yeah, all right. You're welcome in Black Jeopardy anytime.
All right. Well, thank you.
The veil was down, and we saw what they really think of all of us, not just MAGA, but anybody on the right. They think you're a racist. They think you're all the ists for all sorts of psychological reasons that we've gone into and don't need to here. But there was that piece of it. And then there was how deeply offensive it was for Tom Hanks in particular to participate in this skit. Tom Hanks, who started off on this stupid show called Bosom Buddies, which, I mean, maybe it was ahead of its time because it was about two men who dressed as women in order to get the living arrangements they wanted. So it was guys dressed, in sort of in drag. And he was hilarious and he was a nobody. And it was a stupid show that made us fall in love with him because he was so funny and bumbling. And then parlayed that into a film career with great films like Sleepless in Seattle, where he was a romantic lead, and Big, where he was a kid in an adult's body, and Philadelphia, where he was a big-time lawyer suffering from HIV/AIDS. Like all these amazing, Forrest Gump, which was seen around the world, and everyone said the same thing. I love Tom Hanks. I love Tom Hanks. And in thanks to a nation, of audiences that included those guys who look like that, with the t-shirt, without the sleeves, that are maybe a little rough around the edges, who aren't as coiffed as he is with the perfect 3/4 zip, sweater, with their MAGA hat on. And yeah, Tom Hanks, their Southern rural accent, you absolute effing snob, went to your movies and made you a billionaire. And your thanks to them is to mock and belittle them in the 2 minutes you had to portray what they might be like. Shame on you.
You're shoving into some kind of stereotypical bullshit box. Hey, since Tom Hanks is coming back from Greece, can we pick up conversation where we left off when he left? Whatever happened to this girl? You plan on doing any more sexy baby skits on Jimmy Kimmel? What was the deal with all these weird cryptic posts with children's on Instagram? Did you ever have a statement for what Isaac Cappy accused you of? You can get one from him, but unfortunately he passed away not long after that video came out. When he talked about you and your buddy Steven Spielberg. Also happened shortly after this cryptic ass picture you put out. But it's okay, we can move on. Hey, remember this iconic photo? How did it get put on a sweatshirt and why? And what was ever going on with this picture? What happened to your eye? Why aren't you allowed to talk? Is that a pizza clock? Man, here in 2025, this is a different group of people to be associated with. What was the deal with this? You were isolating in Australia because you had... This whole situation was a little weird. Why pose in front of a door that has a barcode? More like county to me, but... Annie Hoosiers, maybe Ricky Gervais has something he could tell us. If you're out here and you're all like, oh man, you're halfway there.
Yes, this lady is impressive. She actually put out the summary of all these. I've decided to be putting out handles so you can see the people posting this video. This is her handle on X. I was impressed when I saw it. Now going into this Star Wars actor, when you take a look at this, Star Wars actor Mark Hamill loses his pan live on TV while presenting an award at the BAFTAs. This is a Trump hater, we know that. I don't know if you've seen this. It's a very short clip. Take a look at this.
So what makes us love cinema so much that we're all gathered here to celebrate tonight? For me, it's that films create worlds so vivid and stories so powerful that we lose ourselves in them completely. They create immersive cinematic landscapes that feel alive, whether they're set here in London or anywhere.
But the fact remains that they're making anyone who voted for Trump look like a racist, and that's why they're mad.
Well, my biggest issue with this...
And I personally would never do that, because I don't believe that any group is one thing. A lot of these people, in my opinion, have been misled. They thought that grocery prices would come down. They're up. They thought inflation was coming down. It's up.
They have never and will never have your best interests in mind.
Yes, I decided to put these clips all together so you can see the crazy meltdown. You saw the view. Joy Behar saying things like that. And this lady on Fox News, she's crazy, right? If Joe Biden show up to the Daytona 500, why Kentucky did face a devastation storm, he would have been crucified. Comparing this, so the little issue that took place, Trump should rush there. He should address immediately. It's insane. I saw liberals melting down. Oh, Trump is taking money. Oh, look at the motor car. Oh, Trump is doing this. This has been Trump thing before even becoming president. He is for the people. Things other president never did, he is doing now, and we are observing it. So this kind of meltdown I see on a daily basis, to me it's ridiculous and it's shameful to see people like this coming on TV to say this. irritated me a lot. Now going back into this crazy Hollywood actor we saw yesterday.
Surviving R. Kelly, leaving Neverland, 2 popes. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care.
Yes, if you see his face, it clearly tells you how panicking he was on this segment. Now going back into that video, if you want to really dissect it, it tells you a lot. And I'm not going to talk about that video much. Last week I did a video where these same Hollywood people, this guy went on an award show, went off on Trump, called Trump all sort of names. I don't know why they are so terrified of this man. You see clips after this. This is just for the algorithm. He helps the channel in a way I can't explain here.
A bully and a thug who's the president of the United States, U.S., it's everywhere.
There is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse within a system.
Audits. A chance to see what happens when you take a business approach to the government.
Also, I got to say,
don't you agree?
I totally agree.
Essential.
Early on, immediately.
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10 to her.
The EU does not treat the U.S. fairly on trade and that he has some big complaints. Is that true?
Right? And it doesn't mean that we should sit and pretend that it's suddenly okay, that this new presidency is just going to keep on keeping on. That is not the case. And
awful things have happened. So, and sparks move things. And it doesn't matter how much water you have.
Future president and his gag
are quality and policy.
The city of the Pacific Palisades is burning. And, I flew here last night. I was on a plane.
You getting water to areas that need...
He's been trained his whole life to do.
What do we do?
Right now you're looking straight. Remember it.
As a country about January.
Yeah, and then I think all our tax dollars probably went for Gavin's hair gel. I don't know.
Jim Jordan.
Josh Green, the governor. Watch the news or talk.
Now look, I have a lot of...
The Democratic Party has about everything.
The next department that appears to be on the chopping block is the Department of Education. Just earlier today,
Thank you. Hey, now speaking of church, can I...
In common, they're all terrified of Ronan Farrow.
Is probably one of the most unintelligent billionaires.
On Team Chiefs, literally right next to us was Taylor Swift.
And you people still don't